That's just inexcusable.
John, you're fired.
Well, it may be fun to watch when the Donald shouts it, but what if your boss said those dreaded words to you? Getting fired is one of the most misunderstood experiences in our modern workforce.
And it can happen to just about anyone. Ask Minnesota business guru Harvey McKay, actor Robert Redford, and Yankees manager Joe Torre. They've all gotten the axe at one point in their career, and chances are it's happened to someone you know. In tonight's Extra, the tale of 3 Minnesotans who suddenly found themselves out of a job. KARE11's Alan Costantini reports.
All of a sudden, he had me come in and said, no, that we're going to have to let you go.
We're not concealing Kathy because she's done anything wrong.
You've had kind of a rough time here, job-wise lately, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
Kathy, not her real name, is a Minnesotan who has just been fired. Not on some glitzy reality show,
You're fired.
but in her own reality at the age of 57.
I know what's like, and it's kind of scary when you're my age.
What was it like the moment that somebody said you're fired?
I kind of went into shock.
Well, when it first happens, it takes about 10 to 14 days for things to calm down.
At Growth Dynamics in Burnsville, psychologist Karen Black counsels the employment terminated, including Kathy.
I thought I was doing a good job.
This has happened to you before,
Yeah,
a number of times?
a couple times.
Kathy worked in telephone customer service. She was told her voice lacked confidence.
Why do you think you've gotten fired?
I don't know. I've been looking into attention deficit.
Psychologist Black sees it differently. She thinks after repeated firings, Kathy has become desensitized to getting the axe.
Even the termination was maybe easier for her because she'd been terminated before.
She's getting used to being fired.
Right.
No one knows exactly how many Americans pounding the pavement looking for new jobs were fired as opposed to being laid off. But there are differences.
You can only qualify for unemployment insurance if you're unemployed through no fault of your own. Oftentimes they don't want to bring themselves to report that they were fired.
Students at the U of M's Carlson School of Management intend to be bosses, not bossed. But managers get pink slips too. Professor Wanberg says look ahead and stay positive.
There is a lot of research showing that employers don't like to hire people who are negative in an employment interview.
But sometimes the blow is too hard to accept.
I really wasn't ever given any good explanations for anything.
39-year-old Tom Lewis of Minneapolis was an air traffic controller. Despite a disability affecting his legs since birth, Tom's hopes soared when he landed a job guiding pilots through Midwestern skies. But his firing a decade ago grounded all of his dreams.
Everything in my life was for that job. I mean, I got my degree, I've got a pilot's license. I was devastated.
Tom decided to fight. He turned to the Neaton and Pucklich law firm of Minnetonka.
Unless an individual has a social network around them that is very firm, very secure, it is very difficult for them to deal with it.
Tom's network became his attorneys. He won a settlement, but he's still out of work.
It was devastating. I mean, it was like going through a death, because I had worked for this company for almost 17 years.
Suzanne Bloomquist of Mound also turned to lawyer Pucklich for help when she lost her regional sales manager job.
I guess it was a great shock to know that you've done everything right and still can lose your job.
But you've landed on your feet.
I did, actually.
But it wasn't easy. Suzanne overcame bouts of severe depression. It was 5 months before she went back to work. But 3 jobs later, she is again a regional sales manager. She says her job priorities have changed.
I think it's not that I'm not loyal and not committed, but the people that helped me through when the job wasn't there were my family and friends. And those were the most important things that maybe took that experience for me to understand that.
So why are some firing victims like Suzanne able to move on while others seem anchored in unemployment?
I think it happens more likely in folks who may have an underlying issue, maybe have a very weak ego. How you've dealt with other life crises will predict how well you'll deal with losing your job. So if you've gone through an automobile accident where you relive the experience over and over again, I think that pretty well defines what most of us go through when we lose our job for the first time.
As for Kathy,
I think what's important is for, this to be a time of opportunity for her.
that's why we concealed Kathy's face, so as not to prejudice a potential employer. Kathy has a degree in English. Now she's undergoing counseling to build up a degree of self-confidence, like Suzanne's.
I think I have been able to understand that I can go through some devastation like that and end up on top.
A sense of self-worth seems crucial to surviving the firing game. Alan Costantini, KARE11 News.
If you'd like to check out the numbers on job losses yourself, they are available from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics website. We have a link to their site on KARE11.com. Just look under featured links.
Want to learn